it's your home. You are changing something that you are a part of pretty much all the time, right? Because even when you're not at home, like your heart's there, your energy is there.
Right.
That's where your mind is thinking you're going to go at the end of the day. All your stuff is there. You're trusting your stuff to be in there. You're trusting like that's your home.
Yeah.
And I do find that it's hard. But once I did it, before I was even trying to do this business, before I was even trying to do Instagram, social media, and making the furniture, I did it for myself first because I was so stressed and I didn't like the house I was living in.
All right, we're back at Hawaii Real. Thank you everybody for subscribing. If you haven't yet, you're behind the curve. Subscribe to this episode on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. And if you're listening to one of our many episodes on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, where else? Google Podcast, Spotify. Did I already say Spotify?
You said
I said Spotify. Sorry. Thank you so much. What you can do to help this channel grow and help us get great guests, share the episode. It's just click, share. And we're also on Instagram, Hawaii.real.podcast on Instagram. Follow us there. I'm constantly posting little videos and I try to make like inspirational little memes and pictures and everything like that. So that's where it is.
I'm seeing it. I'm liking it.
All right. And I have here today a great guest on, Evette Gallant.
Yes.
Not Gallant. Gallant.
Got it right.
High school teacher from Farrington High School.
Yes.
That's what, Kamehameha Lower Campus?
Lower Campus.
Yeah.
You know.
Kind of, yeah. But thank you so much for coming on the show,
Thank
Evette.
you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to have you on. One of the huge things about Evette is that she is the owner-operator of SecondHome Upthrift. And SecondHome Upthrift.
Yes.
And you can find them on Instagram.
Yes, that's where we're at right now.
And so tell the audience, what do you do with SecondHome Upthrift? Because it sounds cool.
It sounds cool.
Yeah.
It is cool.
Yeah.
It is cool. It doesn't just sound cool. So basically, I take, I guess, pieces that people don't really see much value in, or people are ready on its last life, going to get to the dump if someone doesn't take it off their hands, you know. And I take it and I just upthrift it. I mean, that's what's in the name, right? I take something that I've thrifted and I uplift it so that it has either a new purpose or it has a new life. And, you know, sometimes it can be as simple as a paint job, or, you know, other projects can get a little deeper, but basically just really trying to keep things out of the landfill. That was kind of like one of the, not the original focus, but it was one of those original motivating factors for me. Like, I just wanted to not waste. I didn't want to help people waste, you know. I wanted to help them, or I wanted to help the pieces find a second home. So that's kind of how we got the name.
It's kind of like Toy Story. I'm thinking about it like that.
Oh, like when the toys get given to Bonnie?
Yes, that totally.
Yeah.
You get it. Yes.
Oh, yes. I have 2 kids, so I've seen Toy Story 1, 2, 3, 4 more than 4 times each. So
I love Toy Story. It's one of my faves.
It's a great story. It is a great story.
But yeah, so you're taking household items and repurposing them by like giving them a new paint job. Some of your videos, you're sanding stuff, but some of the things like you're creating completely new jobs for these little items and stuff like that too. Yeah. And you're organizing too.
I know. And I'm doing a little bit of everything, but it all focuses around the home, right? I mean, that's kind of what the central focus of it is that I'm doing. But the items that you say, you know, sometimes you see something and it just wants to be what it is. You know, you see it and you're like, oh, that's a beautiful table. It just needs a sand and a stain, and it wants to stay its era. It wants to stay. A lot of the times it's like the Hawaiiana stuff, you know, the old vintage reminds you of when my dad would say kalakaua went both ways, like that time frame in Hawaii. And then other times you see something and like you said, you want to repurpose it completely into something different. And those are the pieces where I get to be really creative, really, really fun, and just kind of go with, I think when I get into those types of projects, I really think about, I need to make this useful to somebody. I think about the user.
Right.
You know, how is this going to function for a family? Is it a family that I think this piece is going to go to? Is this like a young college student? Like, who do I see using this piece? And that's who I design for. So it's thinking about the user a lot of the times when I go for that.
So that's your design process. You're kind of thinking of the end game where what is this? Where is this going to go in someone's house? And who is that someone?
Yes.
Wow.
A lot of times. Because I think for me, it's kind of something funny I put on my Instagram too, is we live in a very small home. My husband and I and our 2 kids, I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and we live in less than 700 square feet. I know it can be, someone might even say, wow, that's like a tiny living, tiny house. And so for me, when I was trying to find items to put in my home, I found that a lot of stuff you're getting just didn't work with the space.
Right. Like a couch is too big, or table's
too big, or it only serves one purpose. Like I get a coffee table and it is just a coffee table. I need it to be a coffee table and a storage for my kids, their toys. And so just that kind of spoke to me as well when I think about the process. Can I make this useful for someone? Can I make it double dip in purpose? Can someone get more than one use out of this? And that kind of drives a lot of the projects as well, and I don't know, I think it's piece by piece, which is what I love about what I'm doing. Is I don't know what Facebook Marketplace is going to throw at me. I don't know what I'm going to find when I go into a Goodwill or to a garage sale. So there's some level that I have to be open-minded pretty much every time I get a new piece. And like I said, some pieces just tell you what they want. Yeah, I know that sounds kind of weird, right?
Yeah, you're bringing kind of a spiritual aspect into it, which is great. No, I like that, because you're bringing, and I think too many people, or not enough people, sorry, don't see it the same way. Like they see the coffee table as a coffee table, or the nightstand as a nightstand, but you're taking it as a whole nother level. Like, who can that nightstand be for, and who's that person? And I'm going to create that for them. They don't even know it exists yet.
They don't even know they need it, really.
Right. And then you put it out there for them, and they look, and they're like, oh, I've been looking for that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And that's going to fit so perfectly in my space.
Yeah, and a lot of times too, and this kind of is in that creative process, is you see a piece, and there's value there, and you may not know exactly what you want to do with it. And sometimes it has to sit. Sometimes, like I have pieces that are still sitting in my house, and it hasn't, I know that sounds crazy, but it hasn't spoken to me. It hasn't clicked. I haven't had that moment of, yes, that's what that wants to be. That's the kind of home it needs to be in. So like I said, again, it's piece by piece. And then also me too, what creative zone am I in? We were texting the other day. Was that Monday? Well, that was yesterday. Oh my gosh. So we were texting yesterday, and I had just created the list of items that I still had. And I have a collaborator who, we're actually old friends, and she's into DIYing too.
Okay.
And so, she and I were just going through the list, and we went through 15 items. Boom, 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 boom. What is this going to be? What are we thinking of this? Like, what paint, what contrast, two-tone, stain?
Wow, so you're like playing tennis off each other. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you can't force that. If you're not in the right space to be doing that, you're going to make a poor choice. And we've done that. I mean, her and I, we saw this cane table. We thought the guy was crazy because he sold it to us for $15. And I was like,
what's a cane table?
Oh, sorry. So cane webbing is actually a really expensive material that they use on furniture. A lot of times you'll see it. It's really popular now with boho furniture. But you're looking at like rattan, bamboo. A lot of times they'll use this.
I hate rattan.
I love rattan. It's really hard to work with, which is why people throw it away a lot. Or they just get rid of it because it is hard to work with. So what cane is it's like a webbing. It's a material, and a lot of times people will put it on like the top of a table or like a door of some kind. And anyway, so we went with we were so excited about the table, we started it right away. Made a really big blunder. We stained it. It was cool stain, but it was wrong for the table.
Oh, I see.
So we rushed the process
Right.
because we were just so excited to jump in.
Mhm.
We didn't let the table tell us what it needed to be.
I gotcha.
I know
gotcha.
that sounds strange,
But it's true.
It's true.
I'm feeling that. And I
Yeah.
think the listeners can feel that too. Like, I'm trying to think of another analogy where that would come into play, and it's hard.
You know, you just got some, I mean, I think overall it's like you have to sit on decisions sometimes, no matter how excited you are.
Yes.
We-
You're sitting on the decision, but in the back of you're putting the decision in your mind, kind of filing it in there, saying, telling your mind, I need to make a decision on this eventually, work on the problem, bring it out when it's ready. Put it in the microwave,
We do this as
push 3 and
yeah, and
wait
I
for
know
the
I'm
ding.
not here to talk about teaching too much, but there's a correlation in teaching where in teaching sometimes you'll learn a new strategy and you get really excited about it and you want to use it right away, and so you just use it the next day and you didn't think it through. The strategy in and of itself is not going to make a good lesson, right? So I feel like that too. Like we just wanted to stain this thing. There was just this process, this physical process that we wanted to do on the table, and it just wasn't right. It fell flat. It just
Right.
it didn't hit. Yeah.
But you learn from it.
But we learned from it.
Right.
And we learned that sometimes it's okay to just be simple. Sometimes it's okay to take our time, even though we're super excited. You got to sit back and relax and let that creative process happen a little more naturally and not push it, you know? Yeah.
Right. That's a huge part of the creative process, is being patient
Yeah.
and letting it come out,
Yes.
not just forcing it.
Not forcing it.
But that comes with building businesses too. Like
Yeah.
you got to play for the long term.
Mm-hmm.
You got to run the marathon,
Mm-hmm.
not the 100-yard sprint.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the marathon.
Yeah.
And I think you guys are doing that, especially with creating these things, and now you're selling them back. So basically what you guys are doing is you're flipping
Yeah.
products
Yeah.
on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, I
Instagram?
mean, it's crazy how you find clients to work with. I mean, one lady we found from Facebook Marketplace, she came to get the item. When she got there, she saw something else we were working on and changed her mind and said, "Can you make that blue for me?"
Wow.
Because we didn't even start it. And kind of how you said earlier, people don't even know that they want it or that they need it. They don't even know that it's for them yet, you know, and they see something, or she saw something and she asked us to custom make an item for her. And of course I was over the moon because I was thinking, you want me to customize something? Like, okay, great. And it was one of those validation moments
Right.
where I said, you know what? I keep telling you like, oh, you know, I'm just a mom with a hobby. But when you have those moments where someone validates you and says, your work is really good, please do this for me, it makes me want to keep going. It
Right.
makes me less scared.
Right. Because they're
Of-
creating value
Yeah.
for you
Yeah.
in everything that you're doing right now.
Yeah.
And then all the time and hours, blood, sweat, toils, tears that you've put into this
Mm-hmm.
is coming to fruition and being validated by
Yeah.
customers.
Yeah.
Basically.
Makes it feel, you know, it makes it feel worth it, and then it makes me feel valued, and I think something that really makes me happy about what I'm doing is it's someone's home, you know? And when someone wants to put something you made in their home, that's just it's your sanctuary. It like I don't know if people really get that every single day, but your home is your sanctuary. Your home should be a reflection of who you are. So when someone is willing to put something that I made in their house, it's honestly the highest compliment that you would want me to be a part of not me, but you would want something I created to
Right.
be a part of your daily life. You're
Right.
going to look at that coffee table every day. You're going to have your coffee there. You're going to sit and read the paper. People don't really read the paper anymore, but you know what I mean. You're going to check the news.
Right. You're putting like an artistic flair to all these things, and people are putting your artistry in their homes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's golden.
yeah. It's the coolest place to have my furniture. Someone's home. Yeah. Coolest place.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking of that, like in that aspect. And that is a great, again, validation to your work, is that people are wanting to put your product and your artistry in their home. They're willing to pay you money, not only pay you money, but put it in their most personal space.
Yeah. And that's what this business is. It's personal. It's really personal. I think the people I meet and that person-to-person connection is, I can't even explain to you how I never thought that's what it would be. You know, I thought, okay, I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to make it cute. Someone's going to like it and someone's going to take it. But when you meet these people, a lot of times they want to talk to you. Granted, I was doing this during COVID, and so I think everyone was wanting to talk to anyone that was coming close to them. So I was kind of like, I haven't seen another person outside of my house, and can you just talk to me for a little bit? So I was able to get to people's stories. I got this piece from a lady out in Kalihi, and she said, oh, you work in Kalihi? I said, yeah, I work at Farrington. She says, oh, my mom, go Guz. My mom, she's class of 1947, 1952. It was, yeah. And then her mom had passed away. And so she was able to talk to me about her mom and what her mom did at Farrington. And it was really personal. And I was taking something from her that was personal. She had a lot of memories attached to the item that I was taking. And on some level, I felt that it was comforting. Like we had this human connection. I'm taking something that you maybe don't even really want to get rid of, but for her, she had to, right? There was some reason she had to get rid of it. I actually think they were selling the house she was living in. And I don't know, I felt like I gave her comfort. She knew that the piece was going to get taken care of.
Right.
And she knew that someone else was going to love it. And people who, you know, that's someone who probably was attached to the item. There are people who are like, get this out of my house now. I don't need it. But I think on some level too, what I do and what I offer comforts them on some level, because they know I'm not sending this to the dump.
Right.
I'm not just contributing.
You're giving it new life, and you're expanding on the sentimental value that it already has with this person.
Yeah. It's just a really, of course, I didn't know that was going to be such an important factor when I started, but it's something that's naturally happened. Just building connections with people, getting to know people's stories, and bringing a personal aspect to furniture. So it's awesome. I'm really enjoying it. I don't know if you can tell how excited I am.
You're bubbling.
I'm bubbling, yeah.
So off camera, you were telling me about being a mompreneur, and where you first saw that on the show, The Profit.
Yes.
And you said you were already doing the business.
Yes.
And that kind of just sparked even more motivation for you.
It really resonated with me, because doing this, the beginning of it really started from kind of I don't want to use the word selfish, but yeah, there was a void, because I am a teacher, and I wasn't getting that interaction with my students. And so I needed something.
This is during COVID.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So this was during COVID. So then I started doing this, and my husband, so amazing, so supportive, was like, yeah, go outside, go sand that thing. Mm-hmm. And 2 hours later, I'm like covered in sand or you know, sawdust, sand. Yeah, I'm covered in sawdust. And then it became, I was doing it once a week. Then I was doing it twice a week. Then I was staying late after work because I was going to go to my friend's house because she has a bigger garage. And yeah, I started spending a little bit more time away from my kids.
Right.
And I was kind of doubting if I should keep going, doubting the motivation. Why am I doing this? Isn't there another way I can manage my stress? Isn't there another way I could be creative? And then I watched that episode, and he was helping a mom who had a business selling handbags, designer handbags. And she was spending a lot of time away from her kids. And her husband was so supportive, and her kids were so happy, and she just had to be more mindful and more present when she was around. And Marcus was like in the show, he was really commending her instead of judging her. And I needed that. I needed to hear that at that point, because I was going to stop. You know, we were getting students back in January, I believe it was, and quote unquote, things were going to go back to normal. Mm-hmm. And so I said, I'll just stop. You know, it was a hobby. It was fun while it lasted, but I can't give this more time because I'm away from my kids. And then hearing that, watching that, and then having my husband say, you're so happy. You're so incredibly happy. that I felt like, you know what, I can do this. I can be a mom and I can follow through with something that I see value in. So it's been difficult. Not gonna lie. It's been a little difficult, you know, balancing that feeling of I'm missing out. My husband, he watches our kids full time because that's another layer of this story of why I started Second Home is he's been unemployed. He, you know, his restaurant, he was the GM of a restaurant in Waikiki. And, you know, you see like, and I hope someone in the audience feels this way, but there's a point in your life and you met the right partner and you have your kids and things are just lining up and you're about to take that next big step of you got that final promotion, the finances are in order, you're going to buy a house, you're going to have that dream, and then COVID happened to us.
Life kicks you in the head.
And it really rocked me, right. You know, and I tried not to show it to my husband too much in the beginning because it was so uncertain. None of us knew it was going to last as long as it did.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, May, the restaurant's still closed. Oh, June, the restaurant's still closed. And then October is actually when I started Second Home. And it was in part because, hey, let's find another way to have some income in the house.
Yeah.
I was having a lot of anxiety. You know, I was struggling. He wasn't leaving the house very much with the kids. He is still currently watching the kids full time. Mm-hmm. So Second Home was just like this, it was a perfect storm of, you know, we had some financial motivation to do it. We had some mental health, you know, behind it that I needed this as for me. And then it kind of just all worked together, you know, and I don't know. It's just been a really awesome experience to get this and to get the support from my husband to keep it going and to not give up on it. And it's now, you know, people are saying we're going back to normal. And I do have more students in my classroom. And all the reasons that I started Second Home, they're not really there anymore. Like those external reasons.
Right.
You know, and I'm still doing it. I'm still committed to doing it. And I think my husband's been really supportive, telling me to be brave. And I think I was kind of alluding to that when we were texting, I guess it was this weekend, that I think if I had told my mom or my family or anyone, oh, I'm going back to school, like, I think people would be really, really supportive. Like,
right.
That's a natural next step for
right. You're going
people.
Back to school so you can get a promotion or get better pay at the job.
And there's like there's this perceived trajectory and this perceived safe path when you think of something that way. But when I tell someone, oh, I'm a mompreneur, or I want to start my own small business, what are you doing during a pandemic?
Are you
crazy? What about the kids? Oh, I try not to roll my eyes on camera, but when I hear that, and I have heard that, you know, and it's like, what about the kids? They have a dad and he's around and we got this good partnership and I have a full-time job, but I can do this thing that's creative and I can be an entrepreneur.
Right.
I can do this. I can follow this. And is it risky? Yes. Is it scary? 100%.
Sure.
I mean, some days I'm super scared and some days I'm like, I can take on the world. It's like a roller coaster, but if I never start or if I never took that first step, I don't know if I would have been as happy as I am right now and free. Like I had mentioned to you guys off camera, like I feel so free doing this. I feel very, you know, like I'm just listening to the universe and I'm following what I'm feeling. And
You're treating your soul.
Yeah.
It's like ice cream for your soul.
And it's furniture.
It's furniture, but you're helping people.
And I'm helping people, yeah.
Right. And I've had that same conversation with my kids regarding doing this podcast. And what I want them to see is that, yes, I am working hard. Yes, we are struggling, but it's doable. It is totally doable. I don't need to be sitting down watching television all the time, wasting my time away. I could be using that time, not all the time, but a lot of that time to be productive. And I want my kids to see that. I want them to see that, no, I am being productive. Even though I have a job and a side business, I'm still being productive with the free hours that I have in the day. And And I want them to really know and see that I'm doing this for their future also.
Yes.
Like, because I'm thinking, hey, okay, just city and county salary. What happens when they get to college? Like, are they going to have to take out loans? Are they going to have to pay it back?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I going to try to create something today that's going to help them
Mm-hmm.
and help everybody in the family 5, 6, 7 years from now?
Yeah.
That's what I'm, the forward thinking, forward focused kind of thing that I'm doing now. And I think that's kind of the same thing that you're doing now. It's like, yeah, it's a struggle now.
It's a struggle
today,
now. It's a struggle. Yes. But
you're going to be set for your kids to go to college.
yeah.
By the time they're old
And
enough.
whether it's financially set or, I mean, I put a lot of emphasis with my kids on like their emotional strength too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think seeing a female figure, yeah, mom's college educated. You know what? I got that full-time job, but you can be more.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And to see that strong, and I only have, I don't have any daughters. I have 2 sons. I am the only girl in a family of 5. So there's 4 older brothers than me. And I just feel like it's so important to show my sons what a powerful woman can be so they're not afraid of them. So that instead of being intimidated, wanting to bring down or give in to, that insecurity of
Fear.
being challenged by a female, they're like welcoming it. And they're young, they're only 4 and 2, but it starts when you're young, and I, like I said, I want them to, when they grow up, I want them to see women as, I'm not threatened by your power. In fact, I want you to be, I want that. I like that. I grew up around that. My mom is that, like I want them to get that energy from me so they can identify it in their future, and when you said something about doing it for your kids, and that was, there's that a deeper level of second home for me. And I'm an island girl, I was born on Guam and I lived there till I was, 6th grade, right? And then, so for me, a part of second home is leaving something for my kids to be proud of.
Right.
That we live in one of the most beautiful places on the planet. And I come from Guam, which is another one of the most beautiful places on the planet.
It's really hot though.
It's hot. It is humid. It's humid. You sweat a lot.
Beautiful.
But what I'm doing is I'm keeping things out of the landfill. I'm helping people not look at something that is junk as junk.
There's a whole environmental thing to your
I try.
second. You're right.
Yeah, I try. And I try to buy local. I try to support Hardware Hawaii instead of like the big box brands. I try. Sure. But there's that element of it too, that I want them to have these practices in their life where they know that resources are limited. We live on an island. It doesn't just go in the trash can and go away, out of sight, out of mind. I mean, it goes somewhere. And so there's all these things, right? There's all these lessons in this one, which started as a passion project, which is, budding into a business, that that's why it's so personal for me. Is there's just so many things attached to why I started this. What does it mean to me? What does it mean to my family? What it could potentially be for my family. And in order to get to that point where I feel so confident doing it, and I was telling you this earlier, it's like I just had to stop listening to those limitations of what people think a mom should be, because we're on this whole topic of a mompreneur, but it's so interesting that we have to come up with a saying for that, right? Specifically, and like the mom is still in there, because I feel like society, it's hard to separate the two.
Yeah,
it's hard.
It is, and I guess there are societal reasons for that. Mom takes care of the kids. Dad goes off to work and brings home the bacon.
Yeah,
that's traditional.
The breadwinner.
But that doesn't always have to be, right? Especially in your guys' case, especially in a case of thousands of other people here on the islands that are in the same boat. It's like, no, you don't have to have that traditional mindset.
And it's okay.
Right.
It's okay. And everything's gonna be okay. I think that's something that my husband and I really had to work through when I was starting this, while he was unemployed. He was adjusting to being the full-time dad. We constantly, there were a lot of struggles, there were times where it seemed like, should I stop? Should I stop? And we would always have to remind each other, it's gonna be okay. Just keep going. It's gonna be okay. Just trust yourself and don't listen to the limitations, and don't listen to those people sliding in your DM saying, "Oh, how do you do that with the kids?" Like, okay,
I just do.
I just do it.
Right.
I watched one of your other ones where you said, "Just do it.
Effing do it.
Just effing do it."
Effing do it. Yeah,
And
that's
I did watch that video that you had posted.
A lot more people to watch that video.
And
Just
it
effing do it.
resonated with me.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? We just have to do it. We just have to do it. And we have to go, we have to break those stereotypes.
Because it's also, in my mindset, it's also like, what's the consequence of not doing it? I think the consequence of not doing something is bigger in the long term than the potential failure of jumping in and doing it.
I mean, what's the, if I stopped tomorrow,
right?
If I went home after this podcast,
where
and
would
just
you be
said,
5-6 years from now?
I mean, where would I be in a week? I'd be like I said, this is an outlet for me, right? So how would my mental health, how would my emotional state, how would that all change? How would the dynamic that we already have created with our family change? You're just
What message would you be sending to your friends and your family if you just gave up?
Yeah, exactly.
They'd be like, "Yep, look, another one that did it and tried and failed and stopped.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to even try because she failed. So why should I try?"
No, and that's the thing, right? I think like, I'm 33, right? I'm 30. Hi, world. I'm 33.
Still way younger than the rest of us. So yeah.
I know, but it's just, you just have to say, I went to school. I did what I was supposed to do. And I followed that trajectory. And here I am. And I'm confident enough to make this new change. And you know what? Even if I failed in 3 years and this doesn't pan out the way I want it to, it's never too late to just start again. Yeah. And all it takes is that right connection, that right support system, that right just situation, right? That perfect storm to who says I can't fail at this, start something else when I'm 39 or 40 and be uber super successful by the time I'm 46, or 50. It's like I need to, I don't want to say we, I'm not here to speak to like that, but I needed to stop thinking about time in that way. Where I am supposed to be. Where should I be? I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be because I'm happy and it's what I'm doing and it's where I'm choosing to put my energy. I think it's when you stop choosing and you just let the energy kind of get away from you, that's where it becomes, that's the failure in my mind. Right there. That's decay. Yeah. Right? I mean, I'm choosing to put my energy somewhere, so that in and of itself is a success, and I'm okay with that. And I'm okay. I'm nervous as hell, but it'll be okay.
I was literally shocked that when you said you've only been doing it since October.
Yeah.
You've come so far. It's like, wow, that's actually really fast.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you. I mean, anyone who really knows me closely will know.
4 months, 5 months.
Yeah. Once Evette gets something in her head. Once I latch onto something, it's like, oh, get out of the way.
Nice.
You gotta you're either on this train and we're going, or step aside because that's kind of what it is. And I'm very fortunate. We're on that topic of mom. I'm fortunate to have had women ahead of me who did the same thing, who lived life very similarly. Get on this train, we're going. Bye. Come on, come with us.
Can you roll a train horn?
Toot.
So you were just telling me, and she was just showing me on her Instagram for on one of your reels.
My reel
on SecondHome Upthrift.
I just posted it on my way here,
and it's got 2,000 hits already. And it's been like an hour.
I posted it probably around 5:45.
Okay, so a few hours.
Yes.
But it's got 2,000 hits.
But it's got 2,000 hits, which, I'm not super. I'm excited. I'm not gonna lie.
That's
I'm
huge.
excited. It's huge. I don't have a huge following on Instagram. So like I was telling you that there are some accounts that I follow that have 5,000 followers, 10,000 followers, and I look at their reels and how much hits they get, how much views they get, and 2,000 is not far off from what some of them are getting. Right. Some of them get an average of 4,000 or 5,000. For maybe not so engaging content, for considering how many followers they have, right? So yeah, that's huge. I'm so excited, and I'm happy we were on a break that Instagram gave me that notification. I can't believe it.
Okay, so we're going to dive into, and you were just telling me how you go about looking at all this and analyzing it and bringing out the teacher in you.
Yeah, so I mean, as a teacher, right, you create this lesson, you have some kind of assessment, you have a target, then you have some kind of assessment at the end to see if your students reached that target. So for me, I use that mentality and really this step-by-step process with Instagram.
Okay.
Like
what is that step-by-step process?
I mean, there's the target, right? So what's my target? Well, it's Tuesday. So I do tips and tricks on Tuesday. Okay. It's something that I do every Tuesday. So the target is I need to get out a tip and a trick to my audience by the end of the day. It holds me accountable. That's why I like doing it. So that's the target, right? And then the lesson, the lesson plan, if you will. How do I get that content to my viewer? Well, as a teacher, you have an attention getter. You have something that grabs in your audience. So this morning I asked my followers, what kind of trick did they want? Something really simple, right? Something just to get people's attention.
What did they say this morning?
It's actually funny. They said half and half. Half wanted a decor tip. The other half wanted a DIY tip.
Okay.
So when I saw that, right, again, the teacher in me, you got to kind of pivot. You got to figure it out. You got to work with what you got at that moment. And I said, okay, it's 3:00. I got to start working on I like to work on content ahead of time, but on Tuesdays, I like to do it in the moment because I like to go with what the audience is kind of feeling. And so I said, oh, they're half and half. Okay, I'm going to give them both camps, right? I'm going to give them something that they both can use. So today I did a picture hanging hack that instead of, have you ever tried to hang a picture? And someone's like, get out of the way. No, like move to the left, move to the right. And you're just.
It's all crooked.
Yes, and it's all crooked. Okay. And you're like in the view and then they tell you, no, I don't like it there. Put it here.
Yes.
So there's this really easy hack. You just use newspaper and you cut the newspaper to the size of the picture. Then you use tape to put that on the wall. And you move that around.
No.
Yes, right?
That's so simple. It's so stupidly simple.
Simple.
It's like, why did I think of that?
Simple. So I just did a reel of that today. It took me like half an hour to do it. Might have been a little longer because I'm kind of a perfectionist. But so then that's how I deliver the content is the reel.
Right.
And then the assessment in a way is like maybe at the end of the night or tomorrow, I'll look at the views, I'll look at the engagement, and then I'll kind of see, did that work? Just like a teacher. How many kids were sleeping during this? Like, how many kids were awake? How many kids actually did what I asked them to do? Very similar.
It's amazing that you've dialed it down to that level from being a teacher. And you've taken your professional skills and put that to social media. Awesome.
Teachers they're just, I mean, that's so yeah, it's like how many people slept on my story, because Instagram will tell you how many people went to the next story, how many people left your story, and again, I think if you are intimidated by that stuff, don't be, because Instagram has it. It's there for you. They have all the numbers. Really, all you need to know is, what do those numbers mean? And so I was telling you during the break that what I'll do at the end of the night is I'll look at how much engagement I got for the day. I'll take that total number, divide it by how many followers I have, times it by 100, and I have my percentage of engagement. So it's a way for me to not look at the number of likes, the number of saves, the number of follows, because that can drain you, especially when you don't have a large following. It's like, oh, I lost a follower today. Oh my gosh. But what you're not looking at is, well, I had like 5 people save that post. I had 35 people interact with my story. 35 divided by 200 followers. I'm not good at math, but that's a pretty decent percentage when you look at Instagram, and you can break it down. So the value of that is roughly Instagram's engagement rate is like, I think it's 3% to 5% is a normal engagement rate. Anything above 5.5% to 6%, you got high engagement. That's good. That means.
How are you learning all this?
I'm on Instagram.
You're just doing your homework.
I mean, I follow. I'm doing my homework, and that's it. It's the information is out there, and I don't look at it like, oh, I'm trying to manipulate the content. I'm trying to No, I'm doing what a teacher does. I'm getting to know my audience. That's the important part. I'm getting to know my audience. I'm asking my audience what they want. That's the best teacher in the world, right? The teacher who says, we just learned about the Civil War. How do you want to show me what you learned? Do you want to do a video? Do you guys want to make a poster? Do you want to do a group project? If the teacher asks you, you feel valued. Right. You feel validated, right? You feel like my voice is important.
Right, you're bringing choices.
Yeah. So I think I like accounts that do that on Instagram too. Listen to me, right? I want to tell you what I want.
It's like, now I'm going to have to change my whole podcast. This is gold. I like this.
And again, I was a little nervous about it. I didn't even know how to make a reel 2 months ago. I really didn't. I have a friend who's a wedding planner on Maui, and she makes amazing stuff. Mm-hmm. I just asked her, hey, can you help me? She's like, I'm super busy, but here's who I learned from. And she literally just sent me some people on Instagram whose whole account, their entire Instagram account, is to teach other people how to use Instagram.
Nice.
It's beautiful. It's such a, and there's this, a lot of the people I follow that I get so much value from, one of their hashtags is community over competition. Always. Community over competition. We are stronger when we are sharing, when we are unified, when we're not trying to drag each other down. It's almost like we're sticking it to social media, right? Because the problem, in a way, it's like...
It's win-win.
It's win-win, right? Yes. So it's awesome. I love...
These are all lessons that we learned at a seminar. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been cool. So I'm very diligent about that. Mm-hmm. I look at my numbers nightly. It informs what I'm going to do the next day. But again, like you said, using that professional background that I have in teaching, that's what teachers do. They look at the data at the end of the day. Who's still struggling? Mm-hmm. Who's ahead of the game? Who's academically super strong but needs a little push in the right direction? And I just use that kind of assessment strategies with my Instagram. And it's crazy how similar these two things are.
Okay, so I want to ask you a question.
Yes, go for it.
Why?
Why?
Why are you doing the whole social media thing? What's the value that it's bringing to you?
To me?
Right, because you're doing the sales, and you're upthrifting all these tangible objects and putting them on sale. So what is the value that it's bringing when you're doing these social media posts and stuff like that?
Bringing to myself or bringing to the audience?
You.
Bringing to me. Like ethos, pathos. I'm thinking ethos, pathos, logos. I'm thinking like I didn't go to design school. Mm-hmm. I'm not an art person. I didn't go to art school. When I put something out on social media and there is a response, a positive response, I feel like incredible. It makes me feel like the feedback I've been getting throughout my life that, oh, you have an eye. You know what you're like, oh, that looks nice. Oh, where'd you get that? It makes me feel good. Yeah. And it makes me feel validated that, you know what? I don't have an interior design degree, but I can tell you that that's not going to look nice in your house, or this is going to look gorgeous in your house.
You're satisfying your soul.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And also, if I'm being completely honest, it's fun. It's just fun.
And that's a huge part of it. Have fun. And a lot of adults today, they're not doing enough fun stuff.
When I think about it, it's right. When you give your kids paint, crayons, it's a method of art, right? And they get to go and they get to create. I just think as an adult, the social media is the most easily accessible way that you can be creative. You know, you have all these things you can do, all these fonts, all these colors. It's fun. It's like my coloring book. It's my coloring book. And what's awesome about it is, you know, I get to show my husband at the end of the day because he's not a big social media person, but I'm like, hey, look what I did. It's kind of like a kid showing off, right? Like, look at me. And it's fun. It validates me. And then, which I didn't think it was going to do in the beginning, it's helping other people.
Right.
And I mean, of course I wanted it to do that. I didn't really think I would have an affect to what I've been receiving. I had this person I don't even know her. She just DM'd me. And she said, I'm so happy so-and-so recommended your page because so many things I thought wouldn't work. So many things I thought wouldn't work in my house or were stressing me out because I do decluttering as well. Right. I do some decluttering hacks on my account. She was just thankful. And she's a mom. I followed her back, and I see that she has young kids who are the same age as me. And that really feels good, because there's something about giving someone value for themselves, right? Like you're saying, why do I do it? Well, that's what I get from it. But to have someone else get something from it, oh my gosh, it's like cooking a meal. It's like, oh, thank you. You like my cooking. That's great. It's like awesome. So that's
you're
nice.
changing the world one person at a time. You know, you're helping a mom or a lady or someone out there to declutter their house just a little bit.
Just a little
bit. What is that little bit going to do for that person? It's going to start to magnify. It's going to be a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And the next thing you know, hey, they've changed their life. And maybe now they're really following you. And you're creating value for yourself. And when you're doing all this, I don't know if you agree with this, but you're becoming that topic expert. Are you not?
I don't.
Like, you're consistently doing this stuff every day of the week and posting it out there, and you're having 2,000 people look at your stuff in 3 hours.
Oh, crazy.
And
amazing.
Value. They're obviously getting value from it. That's why they're watching it. That's why it's getting shared so much.
Yeah.
So.
And that's, it leads me to think, where am I gonna go? What?
You're gonna be walking on stage at a TED Talk.
Oh gosh,
one of these days.
But I'm not saying I'm gonna do a TED Talk, but I do think that I shared a tip last week, and it was about how do you get rid of clothes? Something super simple, right? And everyone struggles with.
Oh, the hanger thing.
The hanger thing.
I'm gonna do that. I saw that. I'm gonna do it.
You saw it?
I totally saw that.
Oh God, that's
so
awesome.
You put all your clothes in the closet. You take the hangers and you turn the hangers around backwards. And you do it for a week, or you wear the clothes for a week or a month or whatever your time frame is, and whatever clothes you haven't turned around on the hanger yet
means you haven't worn them.
Why you got them?
So you gotta assess yourself.
Yeah,
you gotta self-reflect. It's awesome though when you, again, like you said, just like the newspaper thing. It's simple, but it's like that one step to just make your life and the routines and your daily moves that much easier. And if you make one change, like changing your closet, you make one change, like finally cleaning out that junk drawer. I have a hard time saying that one.
We didn't have that much to drink.
No. Or you just change one item in your house that used to just be a coffee table, but now it's a coffee table and a storage for your kids' toys. And you're making these small changes, just like small steps take you far, right? The same thing, these small changes in your house create a sanctuary. And I really feel, and this is where I get really excited, I feel like people are so content a lot of times to accept their house for what it is because they're attached to it and they say, this is my house. Yeah. This is me.
Yeah.
This is what I created. And I think when you bring in a new piece, when you declutter, when you change a system, it can be hard. It can be really hard because it's your home too. You're not just changing your commute or your drive, like the route it's your home. You are changing something that you are a part of pretty much all the time, right? Even when you're not at home, like your heart's there, your energy is there.
Right.
That's where your mind is thinking you're going to go at the end of the day. All your stuff is there. You're trusting your stuff to be in there. You're trusting like that's your home. Yeah. And I do find that it's hard. But once I did it, before I was even trying to do this business, before I was even trying to do Instagram, social media, and making the furniture, I did it for myself first because I was so stressed and I didn't like the house I was living in. But I was also afraid to change because, I love all my clothes. Oh, I love that table. I spent $300 on that table. Yeah, but you know what? It's just stuff, and that monetary value, if it's not serving you, it doesn't belong in your life. If it's not serving you.
Have things for a purpose.
It has to have a purpose. And that's like second home. It's not just repurposing things. It's bringing purpose, right? It's bringing purpose to me. It's bringing purpose to my family, and it's bringing purpose to other people. So purpose through repurposing, I guess. There you go.
Evette, I want to thank you so much for coming on Hawaii Real. This has been fantastic. I've learned so much, and I think I'm going to change some of my stuff on my social media directly because of things that you've said.
I will help you.
I'll probably be hitting you up. Yeah, I'm going to be hitting you up like, what do I do now? I don't know.
Hey.
But it's been great. Any last words?
If you like what you heard, you want to follow me on Instagram at SecondHome Upthrift.
Yes.
And
SecondHome_Upthrift.
SecondHome_Upthrift. yeah, you'll see a little roof. It looks like a roof. That's my icon. Or
and if you need furniture that you didn't know you needed,
yes.
yeah, check it out. It's
Or
there.
if you need to get rid of furniture that you're wanting to go to a good home, or you want to make sure that it's going to a good place or going to be used and kept out of the landfill, we take it, we give it.
So they can hit you up.
Yes. And if you want to
hey,
declutter,
I have a table that I don't need anymore.
yes. If you have a table you don't need, I'll take it off your hands. We'll find a home for it. That's what we're going to do. We'll find it a second home.
All right.
Thank you for having me. This was exciting and fun.
Great. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yes.
All right. Because then I feel like, what was the word you were using? Vindicated? No, not vindicated.
Validated.
Validated.
Yes, you are so validated.
Thank you.
I am affirming what you are doing.
I'm
it
doing
is
the
awesome.
whole
It's
choo-choo
positive.
train porn thing.
You are prioritizing positivity in our community. So thank you. That's awesome.
And she's a teacher.
And I'm a teacher.
Validation from a teacher. That's like paramount.
A+ for the day.
Yay. Okay.
Yay.
All right, everybody. Stay happy, Hawaii.
Yay.
All right.